I'll go ahead and start off with a $100 recommendation. So pretty much the phones or the iPhones that I would recommend to somebody who has, $100 to spend. And before I even say these, I just want to say one little caveat. If you have, the most amount of money, if you have unlimited money to spend, getting the iPhone 12s, getting the most expensive, the newest phones is always a better way to go. Those are just going to future-proof yourself like crazy, but those aren't necessarily the best deals in my opinion, and it just doesn't really make the most sense all the time, especially for the iPhone 12s. But if you have the money, pick up the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Those are the best phones you can pick up. So with that out of the way, the best iPhones for around that $100 price tag, there's 3 of them that I came with. The first one I would recommend is the iPhone 7. I feel like the iPhone 7 right now in 2021 still is probably around like $120, $130, but I can sense that probably around like March or April, it's probably going to be less than $100, just like how the iPhone 6s is in a lot of places. And if you look on places like eBay, some on Amazon as well, these are really good quality phones, for that price tag. If you can get them, I would not spend more than $300 on a phone like this. That's ridiculous. But for $100 in the used market, this is a very capable phone. It's still getting software support. The camera on the back is pretty decent. It's still pretty okay in terms of performance. You still have that check range jailbreak, which is really cool. And it's just a really good phone overall. There's really nothing that's insanely horrible about it, maybe besides the battery life. But even then, that's pretty justifiable because it is, a 2016 phone. The second phone I would recommend was the iPhone 6s. Now, this is obviously the predecessor to the iPhone 7, so I would rather pick up an iPhone 7 or recommend an iPhone 7 over the 6s, but the 6s is still a really decent phone as well. It is one of the oldest supported iPhones currently right now in terms of iOS 14, so you still have all those iOS 14 capabilities. You still have a lot of different things like that. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. It probably has more problems than the iPhone 7. But, if you can pick one up for like less than $80 or something and you really need an iPhone, that is not a bad iPhone either. But the next recommendation, the iPhone SE, that's a phone that I would recommend over the iPhone 6s just because of the stability of that phone. I've always felt like the iPhone SE was a more stable and more predictable phone overall than the 6s. And I always thought it had better battery life, kind of better performance too, even though they have the same chipset. I know it's so weird to say, but I've always felt like the iPhone SE was a better phone overall than the iPhone 6s. So those 3 phones are the phones that I would recommend around that $100 price tag. Now, the